Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. My name is Nur Shazana and I will be explaining the project that I have come up with for my ELS 304 final year project. So it is basically an e-flip storybook with an interactive read aloud feature to assist my readers' reading session. So what is Living the Hard Life about? It is a book that talks about the hardships faced by an Asian Western family. The main character, Jackson Hardlife, fell in love with an Asian woman, Susan, and they later got married and had an intercultural marriage. So Living the Hard Life is basically a book that talks about how the family overcame the challenges of having an intercultural marriage and also the high expectations from their own relatives as Chinese people. So this book consists of 7 chapters and each chapter talks about the different hardships faced by each character. For example, in chapter 1, Jackson Hardlife struggled to get his mother-in-law's blessing to marry her daughter. In the same chapter, he also faced racism by his own mother-in-law as she against the idea of her daughter marrying someone who is not a Chinese. As for the other 2 characters, they face high expectations as Chinese as their hardships. This is because when we look at Chinese people, we have this certain image of them, such as being good with numbers or having those professional occupations. However, Susan and Jason Hardlife have different passions in life. Therefore, they often get judgmental views from their own relatives for liking something that is not common for Chinese people. So for the introduction, I use storybook as an initiative to educate people by delivering messages and lessons in a fun and enjoyable way. This is because if I opted for infographic method, it might be too compact with information that could be hard for my readers to comprehend. So the purpose of me coming up with this ebook is to educate the youth, especially children aged 10 to 15 years old, about racism. Racism is a common topic among the adults. However, we could not say the same for children. That is why we often hear them using racist slurs when communicating with their friends, as there is still so little awareness created about racism for them. The next objective of me coming up with this ebook is to encourage people to pursue their goals and dreams, although they might face oppressions from their own parents. For example, Susan Hardlife insisted on majoring her study in English literature, although her own mother against the idea of it. As for the methodology, I started planning my book by conducting a need analysis survey using Google Form. The purpose of me coming up with this survey is to come up with the storyline and also the number of characters that suit my readers' preference the best. Next, I wrote the storyline using Microsoft Word and later transfer it to Canva to add the background for each page and also to design the cover for my ebook. After that, I downloaded them into PDF form and later converted it into a flip book using a website called publu.com. And lastly, I add a read aloud feature using a website called flicky.ai. As for the results and discussions, it is basically the result of the survey in which it has a total of 9 questions. And 24 students aged 10 to 15 years old had participated in answering the survey. So the purpose of me coming up with this survey is to ensure that the book that I came up with will attract the attention of my readers, as the number of characters and also the storyline are mostly based on their own choices. And last but not least, I hope by creating this book, it will create more awareness in both parents and children towards the topics that I address, especially on the topic of racism, so that no races will face such discrimination anymore in the future. Besides that, I also wish the readers who read my book will get the messages that I wanted to deliver in a fun and enjoyable way. That's all from me. Thank you.